Hello friends, and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Last episode, we were playing more EA Farm, and we got our tofu production facility set up. So now we have a renewable source of tofu, and we're going to be using that in a lot of our recipes moving forward here, since that is going to be our primary meat substitute. So today, we are going to be focused on setting up our test kitchen so that we can cook up a bunch of the next recipes in the quest line. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. Now, before we actually set up the kitchen, I wanted to at least show you what I have scaffolded out here between episodes. This is going to be the room that we are going to build most of our kitchen machines inside of. Now, I'm using this pattern that I've used in a couple of builds before, but I wanted to show it before I framed it all in. Basically, we are generating power from some water wheels over here off of our river. That's giving us a nice renewable source of energy. Our rotational speed controller, of course, is controlling the power coming into our facility. And then we have these gearboxes running around the corners, and this means under the bottom edge of each wall, we will have access to power. Now we can grab up our andesite casing, and that will nicely hide all of these so that you won't be able to see them, and instead it'll just be a nice little decorative pattern around the edges, but we can then pull power off of here whenever we need it. So we're going to do that on the bottom, we're going to do that on the top, and then we're going to finish framing in the walls here so that, once again, we don't get in trouble with the health inspector. Alright, so there we go. Now that we have some walls put on this and a nice conveyor belt to take us inside, I'm going to leave the roof off for now because I'm not sure exactly how much vertical space we are going to need, but I do have some of these birch trapdoors with glass for when we're ready to set that up. Now, we need to start buying up our various machines here. I don't think we have any machines left, except for our millstone. We can go ahead and use that one. The rest of these we are going to have to buy new versions of because we've already used all of them in our last couple of builds. So I know that we are going to need, at a bare minimum, 2 basins here. So let's grab 1 and 2. We are definitely going to then need a mixer. There we go. And we are also definitely going to need our mechanical press. I don't think we need anything else immediately, although I do know that we are going to need that roller here relatively soon. The encased fan is probably a good purchase for us, just so that we can do some baking as well. So maybe we go ahead and buy that as well. And we'll find a place to set that up that isn't going to burn the building down. That might require a little refactoring here. Let's start with the easy ones first, though. Actually, and before we can set those up, we do need to buy up our blaze burners, which are relatively expensive, but a good investment. Okay, so let's start like a 1 block away from the corner, maybe? Maybe we do something like right here and right here, and we put our basins on top of those, just like that, and just like that. Now on top of that, we are going to get our various other machines. I'm going to put 1 block here so we can hop up here, just get up and down. We'll find a more elegant way to do this later. Let's put our mixer there, and we are going to put our mechanical press right here, just like that. That should work fine. Okay, great. And now what we have to do is start hooking up the power here. So that corner is where the power is coming in. So actually, to make this work a little bit better for us, I'm just going to flip these. We're going to put the mechanical mixer on this side, and we're going to put the mechanical press on this side. Great. There we go. Now this should be getting power and it's spinning. Perfect. So that is all set up now, and we can live with that. Maybe we go ahead and set up a rolling mill while we are at it, just for the fun of it. Oh, it's actually a basic machine is the rolling mill. Okay, there we go. That's all we needed to do. So now we have that, and it looks like we have extra coins that I've accidentally spent, but we still have a few more iron coins left, and moreover, we still have our avocado toast factory giving us about 2 more coins, 2 copper coins per minute. So that'll be fine there. Let's go ahead and grab up a few more of our gearboxes there. Okay, great. Now we'll be able to hook up our rolling mill. Let's maybe let's do that here. There we go. And we can grab that one up. We can turn one of these gearboxes into a vertical gearbox, like so. And now we can also go ahead and turn one of these other ones into a vertical gearbox like so. And now this will go ahead and be sideways like that. Alright, our system got a little overstressed there, so I doubled the number of water wheels. That only cost us 2 iron coins, and now our rolling mill is working just fine as well. The last thing to do here is to set up our millstone and our fan. So let's go ahead and get those set up real quick here. We are going to pull this one off. We'll do this like this, and this time we need, yeah, we definitely need a couple more here of our gearboxes. Let's grab up a few more of those. And are we out of coins again already? No problem here. One more set. There we go. All right, so we plop this off here. We turn this one into a vertical one. This now can become something that we can put a gear on, just like that. And now we can put our millstone right on there. Now, I'm not leaving room above and below these like I typically do to be able to put a hopper into the bottom to pull things out. I guess I could be putting hoppers into the top, but we're not going to worry about that because eventually we're going to have pipes here, and pipes are going to be the way that we handle this in the future. So we're not going to worry so much about that this time around. Okay, so the last thing I need to do here on this one, I think what we might try here, I think instead of a encased shaft here, I think what we need is the chain drive. I think that's going to be the proper way to do this. All right, and there we go. Now our fan is set up and we have all of our basic machines that we need for cooking. Perfect. So this test kitchen is effectively set up. Let me go ahead and throw a roof on top real quick and we'll be ready to start cooking. All right, so with that ready to go, we can start our cooking. Let's start working our way across the top row and we'll work our way down as we go. So first things first, we need to make ourselves some mushroom rice. Now, this is why we were spending a whole bunch of time earlier on to make sure that we have plenty of portobello mushrooms is for the various rice recipes that we have ahead of us. So to make our mushroom rice, we need to go get some mushrooms from our mushroom cave. Let's walk in here and see if we can't get some gathered up here. Let's, yeah, we need the brown mushrooms here. We're gonna need a stack of those. We are gonna need a stack of red mushrooms as well. So we'll gather these up. And while we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and harvest all the portobellos that we've got also. So that way they'll keep growing. Again, the red and the brown are the only ones that you can torque to grow. So that is going to be somewhat of a problem for us as we need more portobellos later. So let me gather these up real quick. And as I mentioned, I am going to go ahead and torque here so that we can get more of our red and brown mushrooms. Looks like we're at 47 and we have plenty of brown mushrooms already. So I'll go ahead and get these in our inventory and we will proceed. And of course, we can't make mushroom rice without rice. So let's go ahead and grab up a bunch of rice here. I can't remember what the ratio here is when we put it actually in the millstone. Do we get, it's 1-to-1, unfortunately. That's not great. That's probably something to look at later to tweak a little bit here in my settings and configuration, but that does mean that we're going to need 64 rice here to proceed. So let me grab this up real quick. And it looks like checking our stores, we actually had rice already here. So I'm going to keep letting this grind down and we will just go ahead and work with the rice that we've already got in our inventory instead. So that should be fine for us. So let's grab up our mushrooms here and it looks like we have extras and I'm running out of cabinet space. I'd already had some onions laying around, so I'm just going to chop these up real quick as well so that we have our onions ready. That's not how you do that. Our onions ready to go into this soup also. So just like this. There we go. Now we have a stack of chopped onions. The only thing left to do here is we're going to need some water. So I've got this lovely infinite water source down here from a fresh spring, and that's the story I'm sticking with. So that's going to go in right there. Now all we need to do is start combining all this. Did I miss any ingredients here? No, that appears to be it. So let's go ahead and throw each of these and turn in there. We only need 16 of each. So I'm splitting these stacks just like that. Okay, that should have all of the ingredients that we need. The only thing we're missing here is we do need a bit more charcoal, which I think I have still a little bit here back at base, at our main original base. There we go, 36 charcoal from the last round of when we were making charcoal up. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire up this blaze burner, and that should be making our lovely soup for us. Oh, excuse me, our mushroom rice, not soup. There we go. Okay, so that's all coming out. Now all we're missing here is our water, so we are going to have to keep refilling the water. One thing I have found that's a problem here is that these mechanical mixers often will forget their recipes. That's something I haven't quite figured out a way around yet. It seems to just be a weird bug in the system. But what you can do is filter the recipe, and then I don't think that will happen. So it shouldn't be a problem once you do that. All right, so let's go ahead and put the mechanical mixer back above it, just like so. And now we should just be able to drop our ingredients back in here. And again, we only need half of each of these. So let's do that and that and that. There we go. And that'll make that up real quick for us. Okay, great. Now, if we wanted to get a little fancy with it, we could go ahead and use a chute to automatically remove items from this. So maybe I'll do that. I'm just gonna dig a hole in the ground there into a nice chest, and then we're gonna put a chute on top of that, just like so, and those should now pop out. All right, and that should be the last of it, just like that. All of our mushroom rice is done. That quest is completed, and moreover, we can go ahead and sell this off here in our meals list. Where is our mushroom rice with our other rice dishes? There we go. Perfect, and that is a hefty 18 copper coins. That's a lot of cash for us. Okay, great. So with that done, next up is going to be pasta with meatballs. And in this case, we do have alternate recipes here. You can, of course, use minced beef, but we don't want to. We want to use our minced tofu. We also now get to make our raw pasta, which we need to make a dough sheet and dough first. So we're going to have to cook that up. So what we can do here is grab up our water, put that in our basin, and now we're going to go over here and grab up some of our wheat flour, put this in here, and all we need to do is clear this recipe first. So as soon as the first piece of dough comes out, we'll use that to lock the new recipe. And again, that'll prevent anything weird from happening here with our mixer. Now, this recipe is 10 to 1. That is 1 bucket of water to 10 pieces of flour. And that's a pretty efficient recipe to be getting our dough out here. So we'll just need to go back and forth a few times to get that dough churning. Now, while that's going, we can also start to actually use our dough in our, what is it called? The rolling mill. So this is just gonna roll this out for us, all nice and flat. There we go. And those are turning into dough sheets. So that's gonna work out pretty good for us here. Almost time to refill the flour, or the water to go with the flour, I should say. There we go, and there's more dough. And so we can kind of just keep repeating this loop here. But before I do that, I want to show you what we actually do here. So those dough sheets come out, and we can use these for a couple of different things, but mainly we're going to take the sheets and then we're going to make them into our pasta. Actually, I think that's the only recipe now at this point, but it isn't a big deal. It will turn it into raw pasta for us. So while that's going, we need to cut up our tofu into tofu slices, and then we can cut up those tofu slices a second time to make our minced tofu. So I'm going to take half a stack of tofu, put that in my offhand here, and start cutting this up into slices very quickly here. Shouldn't take too long. And as soon as that's done, like I said, we can then mince it. This is very similar to what we did with our black beans to make our black bean burger patties. So there's our tofu slices, and then we just repeat the process. There we go. Minced tofu all the way. And that will be used, of course, to make the tofu meatballs that we're going to use for this recipe. Now, the last ingredient here is to take a bunch of our tomatoes and make tomato sauce. That tomato sauce we're just going to literally leave in there for making this recipe, because then we can just reuse it. So we're just going to do a little at a time here and cook it up. So let's go ahead and grab up our tomatoes. It doesn't look like that's enough. We're going to have to go get some fresh ones from the garden here. Where did we put our tomato plants? Right in front of us. We knew that there would be a day that we would need them. That's wonderful, and we did not mean to tell that. Okay, great. And so we're almost there. Just grow a few more here. Man, I wish mine would grow that fast. Unfortunately, tomatoes do not grow that fast in the wild. Okay, wonderful. So we don't need to put all of these in here, like I said. We just need to put a couple. So let's do 2 for now. And we are going to grab back up our charcoal here and keep this going for a little while. That should then become tomato sauce. And then our tomato sauce, we will be able to put our raw pasta in here. And we're just literally going to have to do like one at a time, I think. So for that, actually, you know what? It makes sense to go ahead and do a batch of tomato sauce here because we're going to have to repeat this a couple of times in a row. If I was feeling really fancy, I could set up a multi-mixer system here where they're flowing between each other. But again, without pipes, that becomes really annoying and difficult to do. Okay, there is 1,000 millibuckets of our pasta sauce. And then with that, we can take our dough and our tofu and put 4 pieces each in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there we go. That should be cooking into pasta with meatballs. That's what we want to see. All right, so all of those are now coming out. We just have to repeat that process a bunch more times. So like I said, 8 tomatoes go in. That'll make our tomato sauce. And then from that tomato sauce, we will of course be making our pasta. It does look like we need 2 stacks of tomatoes here. So let's go ahead and grab up 1 more stack of these while we are at it. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. But that shouldn't throw a wrench into our works because we do have all of the ingredients that we need. Alright, and there we go. It looks like it can't actually use beetroot. I'm not sure why that is, but I'm sure that we will find out shortly. Maybe it's because beetroot probably isn't one of the right veggies. I thought it was, but that's no problem. We have lots of onion here, and it should work out just fine for us. So we'll just keep an eye on this and make sure that it's getting enough of everything that it needs to continue. Alright, and there is all of our chicken soup made, and by the end I had just gone ahead and switched over to nothing but 100% carrot because that was just the easiest way to go. It was not using the beetroots for whatever reason, but this should work fine for us. Ah, here we go. Yes, chicken soup. Perfect. 14 coins. Not too bad. Alright, so all of our first row of ingredients are now done. We can move on to the second row of our meals here. Steak and potatoes. Now, blocks of tofu count as a steak in this particular recipe here. So really all we need is the bowls, the baked potatoes, the cut onions, and the tofu. So we could use the deployer for this, but I don't have a 3-stage deployer set up in here. So we are going to make these by hand, excuse me, in the crafting grid. So we just need to make sure that we have our baked potatoes and whatnot for this. I don't think we have any baked potatoes left. We have some regular potatoes. So I'm going to go to the garden, get a few more potatoes to be able to use in this recipe. And we also will need to cut up some onions when we get back. So let me go do that back in a flash. All right, so the good news here is that we can use our bulk smoking to make our baked potatoes this time. This is a free way of getting those baked potatoes. While those are cooking, I can go ahead and cut up our onions as well. So let me do that real fast. Should only take a second here. No problem. Great, there is our onions, and those are still just potatoes. Probably just gonna take another minute here. Let's see what else we can get while we're at it. We need to go ahead and grab up our blocks of tofu. There we go. And then last but not least, of course, we do need to buy up all of our bowls again. You know, I really need to come up with a recipe that makes the bowls a little quicker to get here, but I think we can just do this manually for now. I have a glass bottles recipe that means you can do all 16 at once, but this is just gonna have to work for us here, so we're gonna do this real fast. Perfect. All right, and are these done yet? Can we see here? Where are they? Baked potatoes. Perfect. Okay, great. We do have our cypress table here in the back. We're going to use that here to make our steak and potatoes. 64 of those, and perfect. That quest is now done. Moving along really rapidly here. It's always nice when we can just assemble them. Steak and potatoes, and for that we get 10 10 lovely coins. Tefty coins. 10 lovely coins. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, great. So now we can move on to Portobello Risotto. This one needs our baked mushroom caps. For that, we can again use that in our bulk smoker there. We also are going to need some milk for this, which also I believe we have soy milk is an option. So we will need to go back to our other factory and get a bunch of soy milk from our production facility there. We also are going to need some rice as well as more cut onion. So let's go and get the soy milk first. Now we need something to contain our soy milk. So to that end, I think what we're going to do is buy up another drawer here. So we do have our fluid drawers in here somewhere in this list. There we go. A lovely fluid drawer, and this we can use to hold our soy milk. So we're going to go back to our tofu production facility, and we are going to use this there instead of the setup that we have right now where it's making just boatloads of our tofu instead. So let's come here. So this is out of coal. So the good news to that is we can literally just plonk this down right here and it'll fill up all with soy milk. So we're just going to hang out for a little bit and wait for that to get all the way full based on all of these. Look at that, 7,000 soybeans we have in here now. That's just over about 20 minutes, maybe an hour that we have been working on other things that we have that many soybeans. So our factory is working overtime. Very soon we can upgrade this to add more of our mixers clearly. All right, and there we go. Our fluid drawer is now full of soy milk. That's 32 buckets. That should be enough to get us started. I think we only need 16 buckets here. So let's head back to the kitchen and get this set up. We're just gonna put this right here so that we can get access to it easily. I also have an extra bucket of soy milk as a result of moving everything around here. And now we just need to double check that recipe real quick here. Portobello rice. Yes, we just need soy milk here. We need baked portobello caps, cutting in rice. So next up, we will go for the portobello caps. I believe, yes, we have a stack of portobellos. So we are gonna throw these into the fire, just like that. Those are gonna get cooking up nicely. We have our rice already, as I mentioned previously. And now all we need to do is go through and grab our onions up and cut those up for this last little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go, there's all of that, and just a few more seconds I think on those portobellos and they'll be nice and cooked for us there, and we'll be able to put all of this then into the mix. There we go. Whoops, and I singed myself a little bit, but that tends to happen when you're in the kitchen, not really worried about it. All right, let's buy up our bowls real fast as well. That's just gonna take me one little second here. Okay, so that should be all of our ingredients for our portobello risotto. Now, if we really want to get a little fancy with it, we still don't have pipes, but we do have a fluid hopper here. So actually, I don't have enough coins there. Let's grab up our zinc coins. There we go. Now we can grab a fluid hopper, just like that. And the fluid hopper will help us automate this just a little bit because then we don't have to stand idly by and keep filling up the soy milk in here. There we go. So that'll keep one bucket of soy milk in there the whole time. Okay, great. And also an extra bucket is in the fluid hopper as well. Now all we have to do is just throw in all of our ingredients. I think we can just put everything in here like so. And then all this is waiting for is some fire. So with that heat going, this should start crafting it up. And there we go, portobello risotto. Wonderful. We'll just add this to our filter just to make sure that it doesn't accidentally make the wrong thing. And yeah, we should just be able to hang out for a little while and this will auto craft up. All right, and there is all of our portobello risotto all done, and that completes that part of summer. So now we can sell this one real quick here. There we go. 18 copper coins, not too shabby. I'm certainly going to take that. Well, we are only about another quarter of the way through all of our summer quest lines here, but I think this is another really good place to stop. We've already taken way too long cooking these ingredients up, so we are going to take a break here, and we will be back next episode to finish out this first half of our summer quest line, at which point we'll have unlocked another tier of automation, and then hopefully this will go a little bit quicker for us. So, thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here then. Bye, friends!